back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens. What is up, my fellow Genoa City gossips? Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful day. We have a massive, mind-blowing episode to break down today, and honestly, we are still shaking from the suspense. Grab your coffee and get comfortable, because we are diving deep into the absolute madness unfolding at the Abbott mansion right now. I cannot believe they are doing this again. I am sitting here typing furiously late at night because my brain is just spinning out of control after watching that incredibly tense scene with Michael Baldwin, Diane Jenkins, Abbott, and Kyle at the Abbott mansion. I mean, are we really supposed to just sit back, relax, and accept that Dr. Lawrence Markham is just out there roaming the streets completely unaccounted for? Because I am utterly terrified for Diane right now, and I don't even like Diane. But honestly, the sheer incompetence of the Genoa City authorities and the absolute joke that is the Abbott family security has me screaming at my television, reacting to Michael's smug little assurance that Diane is completely safe. I just wanted to throw my remote at the wall. He literally brushed off her very real, very valid fears like she was just being a paranoid housewife. Like, Michael, my guy, you are a brilliant lawyer, but you are being so incredibly dense right now. And let's just talk about Abbott's security for a hot minute. The Abbott security team is on high alert, Michael says with a straight face. Oh, please, give me a massive break. I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and if there is one universal truth in Genoa City, it is that Abbott security is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. I mean, how many times have people just waltzed right through the front door of that man? Patty Williams literally just paraded through those halls in a nurse's outfit, stabbed Jack Abbott, and injected Diane with digitalis. But sure, Michael, let's blindly trust the guys in the cheap suits standing outside who probably take 2-hour coffee breaks while psychopaths climb through the windows. It is laughable. I actually laughed out loud at the screen. Diane has every single right to be shaking in her designer boots right now. She knows that a locked door in the Abbott mansion means absolutely nothing to a determined, vengeful maniac. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's backtrack to why Diane is so terrified in the film. She didn't just escape from Markham's creepy house of horrors. She utterly humiliated the man on her way out. She played him like a cheap fiddle. She batted her eyelashes, completely seduced him, made him think she was actually falling for his twisted doctor-patient romance, and then she poisoned his food with his own sleeping pills. And if that wasn't enough to bruise his massive ego, she practically mocked him while he was... I know some people on the forums are loving this badass survivor version of Diane, but personally, I think she poked a sleeping bear with a very sharp... You do not humiliate an egomaniacal, controlling, psychotic psychiatrist and expect him to just walk away and lick his wounds. Markham is definitely coming back, and he is going to want blood. So here is where my mind goes, and I know I'm not the only one. Am I the only one who is 100% convinced that Dr. Lawrence Markham is actually Martin Laurent? Yes. The evil twin. Think about it. Diane specifically mentioned to Michael that Tracy Abbott looked into Markham's eyes and saw something deeply terrifying, something dark and scary that she couldn't shake. Tracy knows that, look, Tracy was psychologically tortured by Martin when he pretended to be his twin brother, Alan Laurent. Martin is a master of disguise, a master manipulator, and a complete and total sadist. He held Tracy and Ashley hostage. He terrorized them in Paris. And let's not forget, he also kidnapped Sharon Newman and Phyllis Song. This guy has a resume of terror that rivals Victor Newman on his absolute worst day. And If Markham is Martin, or even if he is just deeply connected to him in some twisted criminal underworld way, that changes everything. It elevates this from a creepy doctor storyline to a full-blown slasher horror movie. I mean, Martin is a literal monster. If he has had plastic surgery, or if he's wearing one of those ridiculously realistic silicone masks that soaps love to use when they want to shock us, it would perfectly explain why he is so obsessed with the Abbotts. He already has a massive burning vendetta against Trossie and Ashley. Why wouldn't he target Jack and Diane too? The timeline fits perfectly, the psychological profile fits, and the sheer arrogance fits. He kept Ellen Laurent's books on his shelves at the house, for crying out loud. Diane noticed them. That is the ultimate narcissist move, keeping your twin brother's books around while you torture people in your living room. Because here is the truly terrifying part of this whole scenario. Markham has already been inside the Abbott mansion. He didn't just stand on the porch and drop off a package. Jack actually invited him in. He knows the layout. He knows where the living room is. He knows where the stairs are. He knows all the blind spots where the cameras don't reach. He has literally sat in their living room and analyzed their defenses while pretending to be a concerned medical professional. If he wants to get back in, he doesn't need to break a window or pick a lock. He probably memorized the security codes or figured out which guard is the easiest to distract with a fake pizza delivery. He is lurking in the shadows right now, biding his time. He is waiting for Diane to let her guard down. He is waiting for Kyle and Jack to think the nightmare is officially over because Patty is behind bars. Okay, back to the point. Let's talk about Patty for a second, because Michael did bring some genuinely good news regarding her court date. Christine absolutely nailed that bail hearing. I have to give credit where credit is due, even though I usually complain about the judge. Christine just let Patty talk and talk and talk until she completely unraveled in front of the judge and threw a massive psychotic tantrum. No bail for Patty. She was dragged out of the courtroom kicking and screaming, and now she is locked up permanently. So one monster is officially off the... But Diane is so right to point out that Patty has a history of manipulating the system. Remember when Patty convinced everyone she was rehabilitated and got transferred to a minimum security facility? That is exactly how Markham got his claws into her in the first place. Patty somehow convinced Markham to release her and give her a clean bill of mental health. So, if Markham has the power to manipulate the legal and medical system to let a known attempted murderer walk free, what kind of dark power does he have to protect himself while he's on the run? I was actually really struck by Diane's dark confession. She admitted that when she was held hostage in that house, she seriously considered doing something brutally violent. She wanted to hurt him, maybe even kill him. And Michael, being the absolute ride or die friend he is, told her that if she had, he would have been her defense attorney and gotten her off without a second thought. I loved that loyal moment between them. I really did. But it also shows just how dark Diane's headspace. She was pushed to the absolute brink of her sanity. She faked her own death in 2011. She let Kyle mourn her for a decade. She's done terrible things, but being locked in that house with Markham broke something fundamental. She is a cornered animal right now, and if Markham comes back, I honestly think one of them is going to end up in a body bag. I am dreading the inevitable ambush. You just know the writers are setting us up for a massive jump scare. Diane is going to be alone in the middle. Jack will be at Jabot trying to save the company. Kyle will be out doing whatever Kyle does. The useless security guards will be looking at their phones, and the lights are going to flicker. Diane will walk into the living room, pour herself a drink to calm her nerves, and bam! Markham will be standing right behind her in the reflection of the glass. I can already picture the scene in my head, and it is giving me literal chills. He is going to want to make her feel as helpless, terrified, and humiliated as she made him feel when she drugged him. He's not going to just kill her quickly. He's going to play a sick, twisted psychological game with her first. Remember when they tried this kind of suspense with the whole Ashland Locke saga? Yeah, didn't work then either because Ashland turned out to be a total pushover who died hitting his head on a fireplace. But this feels so different. Jer Burns is playing Markham with such a creepy, understated menace. It reminds me of the classic Y&R villains who didn't need to yell or throw things. He just has this dead-eyed stare that pierces right through you. If Tracy Abbott, the sweetest, most pure, most forgiving soul in all of Genoa City, looked into this man's eyes and saw pure evil, then we all need to be very, very. Tracy doesn't judge people lightly. If Tracy says a man is a demon, he is a demon. And this brings me right back to Michael Baldwin. I love Michael. I have loved him since he was the creepy guy hiding in Christine's closet way back in the day. He has grown so much, but his current attitude is just so incredibly frustrating. Oh, don't worry, Diane. The authorities will catch him. Really, Michael? The same authorities who arrested Diane for Jack's stabbing without even bothering to check Kyle's ironclad alibi for her? Detective Burrow and Christine have been bumbling idiots through this entire investigation. They literally handed Diane over to Markham on a silver platter because they thought it was therapeutic to lock her in a house with bars on the. The GCPD couldn't catch a cold in a blizzard right now. Relying on them to find a brilliant, wealthy, manipulative doctor who clearly knows how to cover his tracks is a recipe for absolute disaster. Also, we have to factor in Victor Newman's role in all of this. We know Victor funded Patty's. We know Victor set this whole catastrophic chain of events into motion just to mess with Jack and destroy his marriage. What if Victor is somehow protecting Markham? Or what if Markham has dirt on Victor? If Markham knows that Victor bankrolled Patty's yacht kidnapping and the Digitalis attack, Markham could be blackmailing Victor for a safe house, unlimited funds, or a quick getaway out of the country. Victor has endless resources that the GCPD doesn't even. If Victor is hiding Markham to cover his own tracks, Diane is in even more danger. Victor hates Diane with a burning, fiery passion. He might just look the other way. Or even unlock the Abbott mansion door himself if Markham decides to finish the job. I know some people are loving this storyline and think Diane deserves to sweat a little after all the pain she's caused Jack and Kyle in the past. But personally, I think this is way too much. No one deserves to be stalked by a psychotic doctor. I am predicting that within the next 2 weeks, Markham is going to breach the Abbott mansion. There is going to be a massive, violent confrontation that will leave the house in ruins. Maybe Kyle will walk in at the last second and save his mother, or maybe Jack will have to push himself out of his recovery bed, tearing his stitches to fight Markham. But this is not over, not by a long shot. The writers are making Diane too paranoid for it to just be a false alarm. In soap opera language, when a character says, "I feel like he's watching me," he is watching her. Period. I am so stressed out, you guys. I need to know what happens next. But I am also terrified to watch. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with the Martin Laurent theory, because I am fully convinced. Okay, I need to go breathe into a paper bag now before my heart explodes.